to Bear Martial Arts, and I'm Trenton McLeod. So the last time we discussed that I just got my blue belt at Alliance. So after I got my blue belt, I took a huge break, right? I took a big break. I had a family. Life started to take over. So I really didn't have that much time for hobbies. I was out for about 7 years to 8 years out of the jiu-jitsu for a while, but I always followed it. I always followed the grappling community. I always followed the top competitors, just to see what's going out there. For some reason, once you start jiu-jitsu, you get the jiu-jitsu bug. It's something that stays with you that it's hard to explain, right? I guess it's the cadence of doing something for such a long time over a long period of time, right? So it kind of sticks with you. So I never did forget it, and I never lost interest with the community. So when I got to Texas, I decided I wanted to get back into it. I knew I was up in age and I wanted to do something that my body can handle that wouldn't break me down as much. Before, at any school that I went to prior, right, it was very, very combat heavy, right? Every day was like the world championship sometimes. And even when at that age and when I was in my 20s, it still would be taxing on my body, but I could recover a lot faster, so I was able to keep pace. So I knew that's what I didn't want to have to go through this time. So I called the school to try my first day, just to be able to try the class, see what it's like. Saw the head instructor and was super excited to meet the head instructor. Called, spoke to someone, still to this day wasn't sure if it was the head instructor or not. Matter of fact, it wasn't the head instructor. It was a junior instructor at the school. So went in there to meet the head instructor, and I didn't see the head instructor, right? Which is fine. I was told that, hey, the head instructor had other things to do. He was going and running some errands. I might be able to see him for the end of the day. They said, okay, well, you want to try? You have a little bit of experience. And I said, hey, I've been out of this for 7 to 8 years now. So I know I told you I was a blue belt, but it's been a while since I've actually grappled. So I'm not sure how much weight that holds at that time. So he said, don't worry about it. We'll just go ahead and give you a belt. You can wear your blue belt, hop on the mats. Matter of fact, he didn't give me a gi or a belt because it was no gi season at that school at the time. So what no gi is normally you would wear a top and a bottom, a lapel, and then you have your pants, and then you have your belt. So normally that's the uniform. Some people will wear rash guards underneath their uniforms too as well, to be able to have additional protection against other people that may not be as clean, right? But we'll talk about that in another video about cleanliness in the mats. So when I first joined, they said, okay, go ahead and, I didn't join at the time. When I first got to the school, I was doing a free trial. So the free trial was a week free trial. So, and that's kind of standard for most places. So if you're interested in joining a gym, right, ask for the free trial. Most of them already have it, and most of them will already tell you about it. So you shouldn't have to ask. But if they don't, feel free to ask. That's important. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. And even in this environment, and even in this community, is the exact same. So, got on the mat. A purple belt was teaching the class at the time, when I was a fresh blue belt. I mean, this was maybe 7 years ago, right? Six or 7 years ago. And it was two purple. There was one purple belt and a brown belt. They were both Brazilians. Spoke a little bit of English. Their English wasn't bad, but you could still tell that they struggled on a few words, right? Or they couldn't express themselves the way they wanted to because they were thinking about what they needed to say versus them just describing specifically what they were doing in the technique. So after the moves were done, the brown belt wanted to roll with me first. And I figured that would happen. Normally when you go to a school and you have experience, they normally throw their heavy hitters at you first, right? So they normally send their best guys at you first to kind of get a feel of where you're at, right? How does this person move? Are they in the right belt level, or are they more advanced, or are they underneath their belt level, right? It's more of an evaluation phase to be able to see how they should evaluate you moving forward, because these are the potential people that will be promoting you from your belt levels. The belt levels consist of white. Some schools have stripes: first degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree. Blue, purple, brown, and black. And that by itself takes 10 years. And there's more belts past that as well. There's the red and white belt. They have the coral belt too as well, and they have degrees in each individual belts. Normally the degrees from from brown down will vary, right? Not every school will give you a degree. They'll just keep you in that individual belt until you're ready to progress to a new belt, right? And then they'll decide whether or not you're ready for your next belt as well. Whether the head instructor is talking to other junior instructors, or the head instructor by himself will make the decision. So, hopping into the classroom, hopping the mat, we learned to move, and I was rolling with the the brown belt. And the brown belt destroyed me, right? It was bad. I mean, he kind of showed me no mercy, which is fine, right? I don't mind the physicality of the sport, right? So, or the sport or the martial art. I don't mind the physicality of it. I actually enjoy it. It reminds me of, what I've been doing for a large part of my life, right? Which was military. So I went against the purple belt next, after I had been tapped out by the brown belt at least about 5 or 6 times in the 5-minute time span. So then I went against the purple belt, and the purple belt tapped me or submitted me in about the same amount, maybe 3 or 4, not too far off. And then I went with one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen in my life. This guy was enormous. I think he was probably a professional bodybuilder. And once you guys do start your martial arts journey, you'll run into all types of people, shapes and sizes from all parts of the world. And I'll create a video a little bit about that too as well in the future for you guys. Yeah, so went with the bodybuilder, and he muscled me everywhere. I mean, he tossed me around the mat like a rag doll, and it was not fun. And I was so confused because I was like, I'm a brand new white belt, and I haven't done, I'm a blue belt, right? But I haven't done this in almost 7-8 years. Why would they put me up against this monster, right? So he didn't submit me, but it was a very physical role, to say the least, right? But I didn't mind, right? Like I said, I like the physicality. I like the back and forth. I like everything about it. So it didn't really bother me too much about the physicality. So I went ahead and afterwards, I said, hey, you know what? Let me ask them about some of the moves they caught me with. So I went and I spoke to him, and I said, hey, man, you caught me in this move. It was actually Anaconda, right? So you caught me in Anaconda. How did you do it? And how do I get out of it? Because you caught me in that specific submission over and over again. And I figured that was his move, right? A lot of people have specialty moves that they go to on a regular basis. So he said, oh, don't worry about it. Just keep coming back. You'll figure it out eventually. I said, okay, well, that wasn't the answer I wanted to hear, right? Me being a client in the facility or a gym, I want to be able to ask the instructor and be able to get positive feedback in regards to the questions I have, whether it's a new move, whether it's a move I saw, or whether I'm ready to learn that move, in my journey or not, right? I still want those questions answered. So that didn't go over well with me. And I never got to see the head instructor. So I also started to feel a little bit of dissension. So in every school, the communities are different, right? Not every school is built the same. I've been to many different schools. I've trained at many different schools. I've stopped in at many different schools in my traveling for work, just to be able to train with those guys too as well, just to get a different experience with different styles and different body types. So I decided that this wasn't a school for me, all right? So my search for my jiu-jitsu school continued. Like and subscribe, turn on the notifications so you can get all the latest updates. Also to follow us on our Instagram page, which should be popping up right about now.